Like I said in a recent video, money isn't everything, I value true, genuine family relationships, friends, you know. I value true relationships that matter, in my life. People that can keep me uplifted, people that can even help me make money. I don't value the money. I value that this person is even able to help me make the money. But if that relationship with that person is broken, there is no money to be made, you know? A lot of people work 9 to 5 jobs, but they don't have a true relationship with their boss, and that's true. It's real out here, man. And as society is just going on saying, go make some money, but money isn't everything. Knowledge, knowing who God is, building a relationship with God, understanding what He wants for your life. That's everything. That's everything you could ever ask for, could ever want. The best thing you could know in your life is that this is what God has for me. And that if I continue doing this, it only gets greater. Why? Because this is where God has me at. I think that's the best thing you could know in your life, that this is what God wants me to do. There's plenty of times you're going to feel unsure and stuff like that, but as long as you run into the right source, bro, you're going to be okay. And, I hope that you guys who are watching this video stay encouraged, Continue to just pray for your family, pray for your friends, because we are just living in crazy times. I talk about everything on this channel. I talk about everything, and I already know these videos aren't for everybody, but just seeing like how the world is going right now, it's sad, honestly, And if you don't know what's going on, just look around, look at your community, Like, and me, I'm from Philadelphia, so it's like I speak to people, I speak to strangers, and they don't even speak back. I said this in my recent videos, but that hits hard because it's just like, how bad could your day be going that somebody spoke to you and you didn't speak back? It really don't take much to be kind, and when people aren't kind, that means they have a lot going on within themselves, and all I can say is that life is very difficult, but through God, there is always a way you can overcome, God will always provide a way through whatever it is you're facing. God will always make a impossible way possible. He did it for me, and I know He can do it for you, It took a lot of strength to make these videos, Making these videos aren't easy, but I just truly believe that it's going to help somebody, And that's how it is for you. Whatever it is you're trying to pursue, whatever it is you're trying to make happen for yourself, think about the people it will affect. If you truly want to succeed in something, bro, think about the people it's going to affect, and then be intentional with what you're doing, Think about how they will receive it. Think about how they're going to take it, what they can learn from it, how they will value it, It's real, and you really have to have a strong mindset. You really have to have God in your life to do certain things, Because, like for me, I deal with a lot. I used to deal with a lot of mental health issues, So I know how I feel to have anxiety. I know how I feel to be depressed. I know how I feel to smoke weed and just want to be by yourself. I was one of those type people where, I would smoke, but I wouldn't want to be around nobody, I always wanted to isolate myself. I always wanted to stay quiet. I always wanted to not be seen and just stay out of the way. But then, I had to, God had to break the pride off of me, It took a lot. I had to swallow that pride, and I had to speak to people. I had to ask for help. And then I also thought about it like, you only become truly successful when you build more relationships, That's why I say it's not about money all the time. Build your relationships, network, get to know people, ask people how their day going, be kind, Just from doing that, you build connections. yeah, this person, I met this guy because he spoke to me one day, and just from here, I found out he do this and do that. You know, the greatest people I met were through just speaking, just networking, saying hello, what do you do for a living? What can I learn from you? How, you know? And I just truly think that if we did value relationships and not the money, things would go way better in our lives. You know, we value the things we do for the people that is going to receive it, things will go better, you know? The business will work out because now you're not thinking about yourself. And that's why I talk about money a lot on this channel, because it's just like, when you think about money, the first thing you think about is yourself. What can I buy with this? What can I do with this? But it's like, no, how many people think about their business and don't think about themselves? How they could adjust something and think that it can help the customer better, you know? And I know, man, I'm gonna have some people who may disagree with me and stuff like that, but it's truly about building relationships, getting to know people, because I came to my full understanding that I don't know everything. And the greatest thing I ever did was become uncomfortable, but start talking, start asking for help. Stop being afraid to say, I don't know how to do this. Stop being afraid of saying, I'm not sure how to do this, you know? Even digging today, I learned how to dig correctly. You know, just digging dirt. I didn't even know how to dig correctly, you know? And just from today, me being honest with myself, me telling my uncle that, you know, he corrected me and showing me how to dig, that goes a long way, you know? So just admit what you can't do, you know, humble yourself and truly connect with people, truly speak to them, and just be kind, just be intentional with your words and how you talk to them. Money isn't everything, and I'm gonna live by that, you know? I'm gonna live by that, and it's a lot of things that you can do with money. It's a lot of things, but you don't find too many people thinking about people when they have money. Not just about handing it out, but perfecting their craft to better this person's life for them, or studying hard to figure out how to understand something so they can teach it to their people for free, you know? You rarely see a lot of act of kindness these days, you know? You rarely see it. A lot of people are selfish. A lot of people are just all about themselves, you know? And I think it's a time to change for society. I think it's a time to wake up. I think people need to truly see what the value is. The value is us. The value is you. We need to stay together. You know, unity is everything. Because without unity, the money really isn't there. You know, what is it for real? What is a job if you don't have people to call to work for you? You know, unity is everything. Value relationships. Value others more than yourself. You know, and that's what I've been doing lately. That's the mindset I've been keeping myself in. Just appreciating people, thinking less of myself and thinking more about the next person. Being mindful of what I say to that person. Trying to understand how I can learn from that person, what advice I can take from this person, what life lesson I can take from this person. You know, I try to understand people better so I can understand myself more. I feel like the more I humble myself, the simpler my life goes. Just by admitting things that I don't know, just by being honest with myself, and being able to go to sleep peacefully at night, knowing that I'm not holding no pride because I want help, you know. And I want you guys to get comfortable, or get uncomfortable, and get out your comfort zone and ask for help. It won't be easy, but it's necessary. You will win. You will accomplish something this year. I believe it. Go be great.